Andrew Tate has emerged as one of the most controversial people on social media this year, and it seems like no matter what platform you're on, there's no avoiding Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has been making waves due to his comments on women that people find sexist, and his extreme views about the world in general. Andrew Tate often talks about how much money he has, and how he came from absolutely nothing, making all of his money through hard work and patience. Andrew Tate has been on every popular podcast in the last couple months, and he is arguably the most famous person on social media right now. He has a lot of confidence, can talk for hours on end, and isn't afraid to say what's on his mind, even if he knows it will get a lot of backlash, which is why people love having him on their podcast. I think one of the main reasons why people enjoy watching Andrew Tate is because he made all of his money without social media and is now telling people they can do the same. Andrew Tate has an extremely shady history when it comes to wealth, which we'll be taking a look at in today's video, but usually when a person blows up on social media, that's how they made all their money, with their Twitch streams or their YouTube channel, but that's definitely not the case with Andrew Tate. I also think that him being 35 years old has been a contributing factor to his growth, because he has a lot of life stories to tell, and he's not the stereotypical 18-year-old gaming streamer that blows up every couple of years. One of the most interesting things about the rise of Andrew Tate is that most of the content you see from Andrew isn't actually posted by him. He doesn't have his own TikTok or even his own Twitter account. The only social media platforms that he actually uses are YouTube and Instagram, where he has 700,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel called Tate Speech, in which he does a podcast with his brother Tristan Tate talking about their perspectives on the world. He uploads a couple times per week on YouTube, and he's been posting to this channel since 2018. He also has 4 million followers on Instagram and counting, where he constantly flexes all of his money and lifestyle. But if you open up YouTube Shorts or TikTok, every other video is of Andrew Tate making a hot take and saying something completely out of left field. How did he do this though? How did he get hundreds of accounts to repost his viral clips on social media? That's something that we're going to be answering in today's video. Even though Andrew Tate says wild things a lot of the time, it would be ignorant not to mention that he does provide some really great advice, encouraging people to work harder and make something of their lives instead of just sitting around and being lazy. Andrew Tate has also made the claim that he's worth over $350 million, which is obviously a staggering amount of money. Whether you're Andrew Tate's biggest fan or Andrew Tate's biggest hater, that doesn't matter, because in today's video, we're going to take an objective look at him and investigate how Andrew Tate actually made all of his money, considering the fact that he was extremely poor growing up. Going back to Andrew Tate's early years, he was born in Washington, D.C., but he would move around a lot when he was very young, bouncing around to Gary, Indiana, which was reported as the most miserable city in the United States in 2019. Andrew would eventually move to Luton, England, which was featured as one of the worst places to live in England. So it's clear that Andrew Tate had absolutely nothing growing up, which makes his journey to becoming rich even more impressive. He always speaks very highly of his father, Emery Tate, who was a chess master, and according to Andrew, he had one of the most insane graphic memories ever. Due to his father's love for the game of chess, Andrew started playing chess at a very young age, and he was one of the best chess players in the state of Indiana. One of the most important people in Andrew's life would be his brother, Tristan Tate, and the two of them still live together to this day. When growing up in England, Andrew said that he and his brother got teased a lot because of their American accents, and his brother Tristan actually beat up one of their school bullies. As some of you may already know, both Andrew and Tristan Tate were professional kickboxers, with Andrew Tate becoming a 4-time European kickboxing champion at the age of 23. Andrew went 76-9 throughout his kickboxing career, and no matter what your opinions of him are, you cannot deny he's an amazing fighter and he had to work extremely hard to become a kickboxing champion, especially when considering his difficult upbringing. When it comes to making money though, he certainly wasn't getting rich from kickboxing, and that's obviously not how he made all of his money. Even professional UFC fighters nowadays probably aren't making nearly as much money as you might expect, and Andrew Tate decided to retire from kickboxing at the age of 28. He would come back for one more fight later on, but he experienced a very bad eye poke, which he says caused a detached retina, and this is why he always wears sunglasses inside, because the lights often bother his eyes. Andrew Tate actually called out Jake Paul to a boxing match in 2020 before people really knew who Andrew Tate was, and when Jake Paul was asked about fighting Andrew Tate recently, he played it off and acted like he didn't know who Andrew Tate was, even though he clearly did. Now I know the chances of Andrew Tate fighting someone like Jake Paul is next to zero, but if that did happen, that would easily blow up the internet. I doubt any major influencer would agree to a fight with Andrew Tate, because when it comes down to it, Andrew is a professional fighter, and he would easily destroy either of the Paul brothers. Moving away from fighting though, Andrew Tate still wasn't rich despite his boxing success, and he decided to start a business, that being his cam girl business. Now this is where Andrew Tate really starts to look like a terrible person, because he literally admits that this entire business was a scam. Andrew and Tristan hired a bunch of women to talk to men online and basically pretend that they were extremely attracted to them, all while charging the men $4 a minute to talk to these women. Andrew Tate went on the Nelk Boys podcast explaining this in depth, and he said that all the women were actually talking to these lonely men, but when it comes to messaging them, Andrew and Tristan Tate were actually the ones writing the messages and not the women. Andrew said that they always sold the dream when messaging these guys and would make up fake stories so the men would send them hundreds of thousands of dollars. These fake stories varied from saying one of their family members is sick and they need a lot of money to help them, or talking about how they want to meet the man in person but they need money for transportation, all ridiculous stuff like that. The Tate brothers made millions and millions of dollars from the cam girl business, and this is how they first started making their money, but it's definitely not the only way they've made their fortune. You're probably wondering why these women would even work for Andrew Tate in the first place, because he is taking around half the money. But Andrew said before that all the women knew they were just the face of the operation, situation, and both Tristan and Andrew Tate were doing all the behind the scenes work. No matter what you think of Andrew Tate, you definitely cannot deny this is objectively wrong and obviously a complete scam. I'm sure that someone can make an argument that it's not Andrew Tate's fault and the men should know better, which is technically true, but you definitely can't deny that this is an extremely unethical way to make money. Andrew Tate even said on the Nelk Boys podcast that he didn't feel bad at all for manipulating these men, which just makes it worse. I'm not exactly sure what the laws are when it comes to this level of scamming, but they've said since they put a disclaimer of quote-unquote for entertainment purposes only on their camgirl sites, it helps them get away with a lot of it, but I still don't know how legal this really is. Jumping forward to 2016, Andrew Tate actually appeared on a reality TV show, that being Big Brother. Now, Big Brother is actually one of my favorite TV shows, and I've been watching it for many years. I didn't actually get to see Andrew Tate on the show though, because he was on the UK version of Big Brother and I watched the US version. Either way though, Andrew Tate's time on Big Brother will be short-lived when a video resurfaced of him hitting a woman with a belt. When Andrew Tate talks about his experience on the show though, he claims that they kicked him off because they were worried he was gonna start fights with the other house guests, which is obviously a major problem when you're dealing with a professional kickboxer. It's important to understand that Andrew Tate wasn't famous on social media at this time, and he wouldn't actually blow up online until a few months ago. In 2017 though, Andrew Tate would move to Romania, and this caused a lot of confusion with people trying to find out why he would move to a poor country in Eastern Europe. Even though he often says that he despises the Western world, and that's the main reason for the move, a lot of people think differently. Apparently, in a deleted video, Andrew Tate said that it's easier to get away with sexual assault in Romania, and even though I've never heard him say this and can't confirm it, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if this was true. He has said in the past though that Romania is a very corrupt country and he loves it for that reason. Andrew Tate was recently a guest on Dave Portnoy's podcast where he said that every country is corrupt, and why wouldn't he want to live in a country where he has access to corruption? I'm sure if Andrew Tate got into any serious legal trouble, he could just bribe someone and get away with pretty much anything, and considering the fact that Andrew Tate does a lot of shady business deals, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the main reason he decided to move to Romania. Andrew Tate decided to end the camgirl business a few years back, and he started to make money in other ways. Andrew Tate even having a camgirl website in the first place though is very hypocritical, because whenever he goes on podcasts, he always talks about how he values traditional women, and people basically selling their bodies online as anything but traditional. Andrew Tate has also said that he doesn't think there's anything wrong with women doing OnlyFans, so I really don't know where he stands on this issue. When it comes to making money though, one of Andrew Tate's income sources were his casinos that he owned in Romania. Now the casinos aren't technically his independent businesses because he set up multiple casinos with another company's branding and would give a percentage of the money to the original founder. Andrew Tate realized that the Starbucks coffee was extremely overpriced, so he decided to give out free coffee at his casinos, which I guess is a small price to pay when people are going to be gambling their life savings away at your casino. I'm not exactly sure how much money Andrew Tate makes from his casinos, but I'm willing to bet he brings in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, if not more. When COVID came along, it started affecting a lot of the casinos in Romania, and since Andrew Tate wanted to keep his casinos open and running, he decided to bribe members of parliament to allow his casinos to stay open, and this worked for a decent amount of time. And this is definitely the type of stuff Andrew Tate was talking about when he said he had access to corruption in Romania that he didn't have in the Western world. Another one of Andrew Tate's main income sources is Hustlers University, which he claims offers 18 modern wealth creation strategies, and is pretty much just a Discord server teaching people how to make money. This is where Andrew Tate really starts making a ridiculous amount of money because it costs $50 per month to join Hustlers University, and he has over 100,000 people signed up. So if we do some basic math, Andrew Tate is making $5 million a month and $60 million a year in gross income. So how did Andrew Tate get 100,000 people to sign up for his online school? Well, it all starts with his very smart marketing strategy. Hustlers University wouldn't become nearly as popular as it is today without Andrew Tate blowing up on social media, and he did just that. Whenever you see a clip of Andrew Tate posted on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, it's never his own personal account, which I mentioned earlier, and this may be a little strange to people. Why would so many random people online decide to make dedicated accounts to posting videos of Andrew Tate? And the truth is, people in Hustlers University get $25 if you get someone else to sign up using your link or promo code, so people are constantly trying to get as many people signed up as possible. If you end up joining Hustlers University, you are probably going to be doing the same thing, which is trying to get other people to sign up using your own link, so it's basically a pyramid scheme. Obviously, reposting clips of Andrew Tate aren't the only things people can do in Hustlers University, but it's certainly one of the main ways they make money, and it's the real reason why Andrew Tate is blown up on social media so much, and you see hundreds of new accounts posting videos of Andrew Tate with dramatic music in the background and subtitles popping up. Since Andrew Tate is such a controversial figure and says things that could potentially get him banned off of social media, having all of these separate channels posting content for him makes it almost impossible to cancel Andrew Tate, and I think that's one of the main reasons why some people gravitate towards Andrew Tate. He says exactly what's on his mind and truly does not care what you think about him. In a world where everyone's trying to say the right thing, not offend anyone, and not ruffle feathers, when a guy like Andrew Tate comes along and basically says, I don't care if you like me or not, I have a life outside of the internet, it makes him very unique. Obviously, I'm not defending some of the terrible things he's done or said, but it's pretty clear why he's gotten so popular in the last few months. A lot of people like to claim they don't care what anybody else thinks of them, but in reality, almost everyone cares to a certain degree, but I really don't think Andrew Tate cares at all, and it's brought him a ton of success. Even when Andrew Tate gets called out on a podcast for doing something wrong, he speaks with so much confidence and energy, energy, it seems that he can talk his way out of anything, and as I've said earlier, people love having him on their podcast. He recently did a live stream with Aaron Ross, a very popular Twitch streamer, where he just talked about his perspective on life and that sort of thing, and the stream had over 200,000 concurrent viewers for a very long period of time. A few days later, he went live with XQC, another massive streamer, where he talked about the same sort of stuff, giving his hot takes on the world, and as always, all the channels reposting Andrew Tate's moments were bringing in millions of views. The last income source of Andrew Tate is very similar to Hustlers University, that being the War Room. Andrew Tate describes this as the place you go into if you've already made a lot of money and want to get things done. He's always really vague when talking about the War Room, and I think it's pretty clear that a lot of illegal stuff is going down in there. It costs a couple $100 a month to join the War Room, and I'm sure he has thousands of members, so he's bringing in a ton of money with that as well. It's going to be really interesting to see if Andrew Tate will maintain his popularity, because I haven't seen someone blow up on social media in such a unique way. He did say on the Nelk Boys podcast that this was just step one of a 3-step plan, so I honestly have no idea what to expect in the coming months. I understand why so many people hate Andrew Tate and want him to leave the internet because of his offensive comments and history of scamming people, but I also do understand why so many people love watching Andrew Tate, because he does have a bunch of good takes in my opinion, mostly when he's talking about people being lazy and how one of the most important things in life is to be disciplined and focused. A lot of people also find Andrew Tate funny, and he's definitely just joking in a lot of videos you see of him, especially when he talks about sparkling water and says that if any of your friends don't like sparkling water, you should stop talking to them immediately. Andrew Tate has had a crazy 2022 with pretty much all of his social media fame coming this year, but he was rich way before everybody knew who he was, making money through professional kickboxing, owning his own camera girl business, opening up several casinos in Romania, and also starting organizations like Hustlers University and the War Room. As I said earlier, the only social media platforms that Andrew Tate actually has are YouTube and Instagram, where he has over 700,000 subscribers on YouTube and millions of followers on Instagram, always flexing about his Bugatti and other supercars, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Tate reaches 10 million Instagram followers in the near future. Make sure to drop a comment down below if you like Andrew Tate or not, because I know he's one of the most controversial people in the world right now. I hope you enjoyed this video on how Andrew Tate actually earned his money, and I'll see you all next time.